Hello everyone, I'm Catherine, and I need some advice on a situation that's left me feeling shattered and questioning everything I thought I knew about my marriage. I'm 34 years old and have been married to my husband Mark for 5 years. We've been together for 8 years in total, and until recently I thought we had a strong and loving relationship. But last week I overheard something that has thrown me into a tailspin, and now I'm not sure what to do. Let me start by saying that Mark and I met through mutual friends. From the very beginning, we had chemistry and our relationship blossomed quickly. He was attentive, charming, and constantly reassured me of his love. We traveled together, shared countless hobbies, and eventually built a home together. Friends often commented on how we seemed like the perfect couple, and I believed it too. Sure, we had our ups and downs like any other couple, but nothing prepared me for what I overheard that night. Last Saturday, Mark had a few friends over for a guys' night. I didn't mind. He doesn't get to see his friends as often as he'd like, so I encouraged him to have a good time while I planned a quiet evening in our bedroom, catching up on my favorite series and enjoying a glass of wine. The night went on, and I could hear them laughing and talking loudly in the living room. It was nice to hear him having fun. Around midnight, I decided to go to bed. I had just stepped out of the shower when I realized I'd left my phone on the kitchen counter. I opened the bedroom door quietly, thinking I'd sneak past them without disturbing their fun. That's when I heard it. Mark's voice cutting through the laughter, clear and unmistakable. He was talking about me. "Yeah, Catherine is great and all," he said, "but to be honest, I'm just not attracted to her anymore." My heart sank. I felt a pit open in my stomach as his words echoed in my ears. It felt like time had stopped. His voice carried on as he continued to say, "I mean, she's let herself go a bit, you know. I wish she'd put in some effort like she used to. I just don't know how to tell her." The room started to spin. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Mark, the man I had given everything to, was casually discussing his lack of attraction to me with his friends. I pressed myself against the wall, hoping to blend into the shadows as my heart pounded painfully against my chest. One of his friends chimed in, trying to reassure him. "Man, that's tough, but maybe you should just talk to her about it. You know, see if she wants to change or something." Mark just laughed, brushing it off. "I don't know, man. I don't want to hurt her feelings, and I don't even know if it would make a difference." That was it. I couldn't listen anymore. I slipped back into the bedroom and sat on the edge of the bed, staring blankly at the wall. I felt numb and betrayed. His words cut deeper than anything I'd ever experienced, and suddenly I was questioning every moment of our marriage. For the rest of the night, I stayed in the bedroom, pretending to be asleep when Mark finally came to bed. The next morning, I woke up with puffy eyes and a heavy heart. Mark acted as if nothing had happened, kissing me on the cheek before heading out to run some errands. I wanted to confront him, to demand an explanation for what I heard, but I was terrified of what he might say. All day, I replayed the conversation in my head, trying to figure out if I'd misheard or misinterpreted anything. I thought about the way he used to look at me and the loving words he used to say. Had it all been a lie? Or had I really changed so much that he no longer found me attractive? These questions swirled around in my mind, each one leaving me more devastated than the last. I considered calling a friend to talk it over, but the idea of telling someone else about this felt humiliating. Instead, I decided to scroll through my old photos to see if I could notice any difference in myself. As I looked through pictures from when we first started dating, I saw the youthful glow, the excitement in my eyes, and the care I used to put into my appearance. Maybe I had let myself go a little, but was it so terrible that Mark would no longer be attracted to me? By the evening, I was a wreck. Mark noticed I was quieter than usual, asking me if everything was all right. I forced a smile and told him I was just tired, but inside I was screaming. How could I confront him without destroying what little trust I still had left? How could I address an issue so deeply personal and painful? That night, I went online to seek some advice. I stumbled upon a forum where people shared their relationship struggles, hoping to find someone who had faced a similar situation. As I read through stories of betrayal, communication failures, and heartbreak, I realized how common it was for couples to face issues of attraction and connection over time. But that didn't make it any easier to swallow. Some people advised confronting the partner directly, while others suggested working on self-improvement to rekindle the spark. But I couldn't shake the feeling of inadequacy that had settled over me. How could I change myself for someone who had spoken about me so callously? I spent the next few days in a daze, trying to around Mark while secretly analysing everything he did or said. I became hyper-aware of his actions, trying to discern whether he was genuinely affectionate or just going through the motions. The uncertainty was eating away at me, and I knew I couldn't continue like this for much longer. On Friday, I finally decided to seek advice from my sister Emily. She had always been my confidant and the person I'd turn to when things got tough. Over a cup of coffee, I spilled everything from what I'd overheard to the turmoil I felt inside. Emily listened patiently, her expression shifting from shock to anger to sympathy as I spoke. "Catherine, you need to talk to him," she finally said, her voice firm yet gentle. "You deserve to know the truth. Maybe there's more to it than what you heard. And even if there isn't, you need to figure out if this is something you can work through together." I knew she was right, but the thought of confronting Mark filled me with dread. What if his feelings had truly changed? What if he couldn't see me the way he once did? The fear of losing him, despite the pain he'd caused, was paralyzing. But Emily's words stuck with me, echoing in my mind long after our conversation ended. I realized that I needed to gather the courage to have that difficult conversation with Mark. Avoiding it would only prolong my pain and keep me trapped in this limbo of uncertainty. As the weekend approached, I began to mentally prepare for the discussion. I practiced what I wanted to say, reminding myself that my feelings and concerns were valid. I needed to be honest about what I'd overheard and how it made me feel, and I needed to hear his side of the story. The uncertainty of the outcome still terrified me, but I couldn't ignore the situation any longer. I had to find out whether we could salvage our marriage or if this revelation marked the beginning of the end. No matter what happened, I owed it to myself to seek the truth and fight for the relationship I cherished. As I sit here writing this, I know that the conversation with Mark is inevitable. The pit in my stomach hasn't gone away, but I've decided to confront him tonight after dinner. I can only hope that he'll be honest with me and that we'll find a way to move forward, one way or another. Thank you for listening to my story, and if you have any advice or similar experiences, please share them. Your support means the world to me as I navigate this uncertain and painful time in my life.